Hey, what's up guys? This is Seth with KnowTheAssets.com. This is the very first YouTube video for the Know The Assets Instagram page. So check us out on Instagram if you are new to us. This week has been very eventful in the stock market. After going up about 6% during the election week, the S&P 500 is now up an additional 2%. The Associated Press has also called the election race in favor of Biden. Pfizer this week announced an effective phase 3 vaccine for the pandemic. I am still taking checks from companies. The living of dividends portfolio is looking much better than it did last week. All of this coming up next. Although some experts had predicted a doom and gloom future for the stock market during and after the elections, none of that has happened so far. The stock market seems to be continuing the upward trend. This could be partly because of the Pfizer vaccine announcement. But now, let's take a look at the living of dividends portfolio. But before doing that, let's pause for the course for a minute, and then let's go over the prerequisites to investing. For those that are new to investing, in case they would also like to start their own dividend portfolio. Okay, so here we are on the Know The Assets Instagram page. If you are not yet following us on Instagram, go check out the Instagram page and follow to get consistent tips on how to build your wealth and keep it. Man, now I sound like Ty Lopez.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
Okay, now back to the process. Let me click on this post that I have for the living of dividends portfolio series. This is for week 18. So on page number 2, you'll find the process. Step number 1, determine the average amount of money that you spend in a month. This is very important because you need that for step number 2, which is have an emergency fund worth at least 3 times your average monthly expenses in a high interest savings account. You don't want to use money that you need later on, like 3 months later on. So having an emergency fund will prevent you from having to sell your stocks to basically use that so you could have money for an emergency. All right, so step number 3, no matter what, auto deposit $140 or any amount that you are comfortable with in your brokerage account. You can easily do this through your bank's online bank. You could use that. You could use your bank's online platform to set this up, to set your auto deposit. Step number 4, no matter what, auto invest $140 that you just deposited into your brokerage account in assets in your dividend portfolio. This can be done through your stockbroker. If your stockbroker does not have this feature, check out the links below for M1 Finance. That's my favorite broker for long-term investing. So check out M1 Finance in the links in the description. Step number 5, invest extra cash in lump sums during a correction. And a correction is a decline of 10% or more. So yeah, JP Morgan did a research, and then fun fact, lump sum investing always edges out like dollar cost averaging. So dollar cost averaging, it might work, it might edge out lump sum investing maybe in a year or 2, but then lump sum investing always edges out dollar cost averaging. So take advantage of that to maximize your return on investment using lump sum investing. Okay, now let's pause for the course. If you have not already smashed the like button, if you have not already smashed the subscribe button, if you have not yet smashed the notification button, do that now. Show some love to the channel. We already know the long-term goal of this portfolio, but then let's look at the short-term goal for this portfolio. So the short-term goal is to basically replace my phone bill of $26.03, which is monthly, with dividends. So my phone bill is basically $26.03 per month, and I'm trying to replace that with dividends. From my calculations, which you can see over here, I would need about $9,000 invested in my portfolio, which returns about 3.5% in dividends per year. To be able to reach this goal. I'm currently halfway through with a little bit over 4,500 invested, but then I'll need an additional 4,500 invested to be able to fully replace my phone bill with dividends. Okay, so now let's take a look at the living of dividends portfolio's 1 week performance. So we're already on the 1 week time frame, and then we see that the portfolio returned 5% this week, and that's about $212.36. For the dividends, we received $3.42 in dividends. The portfolio is now at 4,500, a little bit over 4,500, and that basically puts us halfway through to meet our short-term goal, which is to replace our phone bill of $26. But then to do that, we need $9,000 invested, so that puts us a little bit over halfway through it. And then now let's look at the different sectors. All right, so let's sort this by return, and then we see that the real estate sector is outperforming the stock market. The S&P 500 by a whole lot. The S&P 500 returned 2% this week, while the real estate sector returned 11% this week. If we paying attention, we could see that money is flowing out of the stock, gold, bonds, consumer goods, and tech. The tech and consumer goods, those performed very well in the beginning of the pandemic, but then those are losing steam at the moment, while the real estate and finance sectors are gaining steam. Money is basically flowing out of these sectors into the sectors that underperformed the stock market in the beginning of the pandemic. Finance is up almost 10%. Communication is up 5%. Industrials is up 5%. These sectors were underperforming the stock market in the beginning of the pandemic. Now let's switch to the overall time frame. Actually, let's take a look at the 1 month. The 1 month time frame is almost similar. Let's switch to the overall time frame. The overall time frame, we see that it's almost the same behavior as the 1 week time frame. Transportation sector is picking up steam. Is definitely is getting a whole lot of steam. It's up 27%, and it's basically now my top performing sector. The same for finance. Finance is also doing very well. Let's look at the S&P 500's performance. The S&P 500 performance is about 15%. So these are doing very well. Real estate is getting a whole lot of steam now. Industrials, consumer goods. Consumer goods, it has been performing well since the beginning. It's still performing well. Nobody, people will still definitely go to Target to go shop. People will still go to Walmart to go shop. And people will still buy Nikes. And so the consumer goods will definitely do well still. But then we could see that money is definitely flowing out of the bonds, the gold, then the tech areas into the transportation sectors, and then the real estate also, and then the finance sectors. Okay, so now let's take a look at the different sectors to see areas where we could optimize for the future. So let's take a look at the real estate sector. The real estate sector, let's look at the sector index. The sector index is up 12% overall. AMT, American Tower, is underperforming by a whole lot. American Tower is down. It's on the negative end of it by 4.88%. That is because American Tower has been missing their past 3 quarterly earnings targets. So that explains that. But then analysts expect that to turn around in the first quarter of 2021. I'll hang on to AMT. I think it will be a big player when it comes to 5G. So I'm still going to hang on to AMT. Let's take a look at the realty income. That one is also underperforming the sector index. Is up 9.72%, while the sector index is up 12%. So realty income got hit really hard from the pandemic. So that one explains that. I'll still hang on to realty income. That's one of my favorite dividend stocks. Now let's take a look at the technology sector. The tech sector, the sector index is up. VGT, the sector index is up 13%, while Avgo, which is Broadcom, is up 18%. So Broadcom is doing very well in this sector. Cisco and then Intel are underperforming this sector. They are underperforming the sector index by a whole lot. Intel is negative 16, about 17%, and then Cisco is negative about 0.22%. For Intel, they've been delaying their 7 nanometer chips for a long time, and that's what is causing all of that downturn. I know AMD is taking advantage of that. AMD, the stock is gaining from Intel's delays. The same for Nvidia. Nvidia, that's also another chip maker that is also benefiting from Intel's delays. Now let's take a look at the bonds. The bonds, you know what? We're not even going to take a look at the bonds. We already know what's going on. The Feds cut down interest rates, and nobody wants to buy bonds with low interest rates. Communication sector, the sector index VOX is up 16%. And then other than Comcast, we see that AT&T and Verizon are down. They are underperforming the sector index. Verizon is at 11%. AT&T is at 1%. I might sell out of AT&T and probably put that in Verizon or maybe Comcast or something. That is way too low for me. But an AT&T barely moves anyways. Now let's take a look at the finance sector. The finance sector, the sector index VFH is up 17%. And then a quick glance at it, we see that it's only Wells Fargo that is underperforming the sector index. Wells Fargo is up only 2%, while the sector index is up 17%. With Wells Fargo, that's understandable. The company was having a whole lot of backlash from a lot of issues that were happening in the bank. So that explains that. Now let's take a look at the utilities. The sector index VPU is up 17%. And then it seems like every individual stock in here is outperforming the sector index other than Dominion Energy. So Dominion Energy, I'll still hang on to it. It's only underperforming the sector index by 12%. By 2%. So that's not that bad. Now let's take a look at the industrials really quick. The industrials is only Lockheed Martin that is underperforming this sector index. The sector index is at 13%. Boeing is outperforming that. Waste management is also outperforming that. Caterpillar is also outperforming that. Only Lockheed Martin does not. I might sell out of Lockheed Martin. Actually thinking about it. I'll have to ponder over that a little bit. Now let's take a look at the healthcare. The sector index VHT is up 9.53%. And then a quick glance at it is only two of these. It's only Johnson & Johnson and American Co. that are underperforming the sector index. So I don't really have an explanation for these two. I'll have to look into these and ponder over this for a little bit this week. Now let's take a look at, I'm not even going to look at gold. Gold, we already know what's going on. It is a safe haven. Nobody really wants a safe haven when the stock market is trending upwards and we have a bull run. Now let's take a look at the consumer goods. Consumer goods, the sector index VCR is up 18%. Ooh, that's a lot. That's way better than the S&P 500, which is at 13%. Dave & Buster's, that's outperforming. I mean, not really if we look at it from the long-term perspective, but then on the short-term perspective, it's doing really well. Nike is also performing really well. It's outperforming this sector index. Costco, Disney, other than Home Depot and McDonald's, everything is outperforming the sector index. I don't really have an explanation why these two are not really. Probably they missed an earnings report or something. I'm not sure of that. I will have to ponder over that. Don't quote me on that. And then transportation sector. This sector got really beaten up during the beginning of the pandemic. But then the sector index is now up 23% since July 7th. Delta Airlines is also picking up steam now. UPS the same. ODFL is the only one underperforming the sector index now. But then ODFL was doing really well. The Old Dominion Freight Line, that was doing really well in the beginning of the pandemic. But then I guess money is flowing out of that. into other transportation stocks. Yeah, and also the stock market overall. The S&P 500 is up 14%. So that covers it for all the different sectors in the Living Off Dividends portfolio. Okay, we will end this week's Living Off Dividends episode over here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Come back for more videos. Make sure to destroy the like button. Make sure to destroy the subscribe button and the notification button to be notified anytime I make a new post. Join us on Instagram. I post there pretty much daily, so add us on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.